Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm Brother Kelly Hughes, Chaplain of the Arts. We are broadcasting from the Valiant Theatre here in downtown Winnipeg's Greasy Tenderloin. This is Kelly Hughes Live Schwartz, Fringe 2025. So thank you for tuning in, whether you're listening on YouTube or any of the various social medias, or maybe listening on UMFM 101.5. We welcome you here. My guests are Willow, Rosenberg, and Adam Schwartz.
Howdy.
Hello.
Who I just tried to kill. I had these beautiful seats from the old Park Theatre, actually, which I had here, and I thought this is going to be so much fun. It's going to look really cool. And then, of course,
look really cool.
It did look cool until I almost killed you because I had not fixed it properly. If my partner Andy is watching this, they're going to be like, because I put up a hammock one time, and high and like not in a stud,
and it went as well as
they ended up like, they hurt their tailbone, and it was like, for like 5 years it was a problem. Right. So anyway, Andy, yes, I did it again.
Oops.
I have been
Andy,
canceled.
This guy, am I right?
I have been canceled from the Home Safety Committee for reasons. Thank you so much for coming back. Yeah. You were both doing Fringe shows again. You're doing your show. You're doing a new show.
I am
here,
yes.
And then you're doing another show in
Edmonton.
Yes. Or sorry, the old last year's show in Edmonton,
and a new show for Winnipeg this year.
Yeah. Now, what's the new show called?
It's called A Lesbian in the Kitchen.
Lesbian in the Kitchen, and the other one was Lesbian in a Bear Store?
Yeah.
Now, I remember talking to you last year when we were doing this still on CKUW, and I guess it must have been early in the run.
Yeah.
Because, things were kind of a bit, because you hadn't really done, it'd been a little while for you for Fringe, right?
I had never performed in Fringe before.
So it was your first Fringe show?
Yeah.
Well, your first solo Fringe show.
That's true. I did do 5 minutes in Neural Hilarity the year before.
We're so stingy.
It's,
Adam, I know. Adam just wants to hear himself.
Yeah.
So what happened throughout the run?
Which was an amazing show. Edmonton, come check it out.
Thank you.
He's your hype man.
It was the most stressful thing I've ever done, but also the most rewarding. I connected with so many wonderful people, found points of connection in disability with friends who I didn't know shared some of my things, and even had people come up to me after, like in the weeks, months afterwards, who realized from seeing my show that something about them wasn't normal, and got tested and were getting treatment and help for disabilities they didn't know they had.
So when did you decide you were going to do another show?
Pretty much during last year's show. It was so much fun and so wonderful connecting with audiences and getting to tell my stories for an hour that I decided I needed to do it again, regardless of if I got in with the lottery or not. And so we're doing a BYOV this year.
Which BYOV?
I'm at the Output. It's venue 12. It's upstairs in an art space above Cinematheque.
Okay. They're not using Cinematheque this year. I think.
No.
No, because they're doing renos or something. They're doing
okay.
something in there. Yeah.
Well, you can still come up a
go
couple floors and
go upstairs.
Yeah.
And Adam, you're doing more stand-up comics, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The Neural Hilarity. Now it's kind of a stalwart, Fringe stalwart. Mm-hmm. Who's in the?
It's an incredible lineup of Roland Penner, Danielle Kayahara, who's just in the Winnipeg Comedy Festival Best of Fest, and Carol Cunningham is who's also amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she is. And you?
Nah.
So
right.
Is that less people than you normally?
Yeah.
have?
So last year, Danielle constantly was unable to do her full set, so we decided to go with 4 comics this year, so that each comic can do a bit more time.
Right. So you said she's good. She can do more time, other guys, Scott, all you other guys, get out of here. You suck. You gave him the boot. No, I mean, it's obviously you've only got an hour or whatever. So you
But yeah, it's amazing getting to work with all the neurodivergent performers. There's so many neurodivergent performers in the festival period that it's amazing. That arts is essentially neurodivergent as far as I'm concerned. The Fringe,
that's accurate.
and yeah, it's been an interesting year. We're exploring the intricacies between. So I used to have this idea that I could just focus on neurodivergent people and ignore all the intersectionalities. But the truth is, when I've been putting on my shows, most of the shows are LGBTQ. So it's like it's hard to ignore and then be like, all right, this is just about neurodiversity, go away. And that it's all intersectional, and it's been interesting seeing how much everything is overlapped.
Do you think that? Because I do agree that art is pretty neurodivergent. Do you think that people are more open about it now? Do you think they're talking about it more now? Do you think it's more of a thing now? And do you think you made that happen? Do you take responsibility for that?
Well, I take responsibility for everything. I'm very God-like in that way.
Yeah.
Benevolent. But no.
Willow thinks of you as an evil genius.
Just trying to reconcile benevolence with the Jewish God. Not always.
Obstinate. But yeah, no, I had very little to do with it, that there's so many amazing people who just want to share all parts of themselves. And so lucky that everyone is just artists are open. I sometimes wish that I had gone into arts earlier because they're just so accepting and of differences and just a safe place versus sports where you're either the best or you're the worst.
I was having a discussion with someone the other day about how theater seemed to me to be, especially growing up, it seemed to be all the ADHD kids. And I was wondering about that, and then I thought, for me it was like, when you do your high school show or whatever, you're doing this thing for 3 months or however long you're doing it. So if you've got ADHD, you can drill down and do a thing for 3 months, a really intense thing. It's stuff like where you have to kind of keep it going, like you have to be in a band or stuff like that. But theater is always in these kind of short bites, right? Unless you're doing Hamilton or something.
And once your focus is starting to wane and you're getting bored with it, there's another one.
You do something else. Yeah. Another thing comes along. But yeah, I do think at this point in my life, I've just turned 55.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, thanks. Well, not just, but I feel like I don't know who the normies are anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're so far out of my sphere now.
I don't know if there are normies or that we all have our challenges. I mean, mine are obviously the greatest, but we all have our challenges and we all have our shtick.
Yeah.
Some people naturally have some skills that make certain things easier, like marketing and stuff. And but even everyone has their challenges, and that.
Well, I do think everything's on a spectrum. I do think everything is. I mean, there's the spectrum, but I think that mental health and way brains work and all that stuff. It's like queerness. You know what I mean? It's all on kind of a spectrum, and even because I with my mental health, the doctor says I'm ADHD and bipolar, but it's things don't always fit in a nice category. And those categories are kind of arbitrary, right? And everybody is unique, and everybody's brains work differently. And so I think that it's good that kind of when I went to school, because I went to school in like the 70s and 80s. I mean, there was just like the slow kids, and then everybody else. And that's, and the slow kids is the nice way to say it, right?
Right.
So I think that the fact that we are more aware of this, that we're talking about it. And then when you're doing your shows, you've got people coming to see that, and people going, "Oh, hey, that's me.
Yeah.
I see myself."
Well, I think that it's all a process. That there's, I tribute a lot of the whole disability arts scene to Debbie Patterson, who's a god as far as I'm concerned. But
So you're not the god, you're a god along with Debbie. Are you kind of like co-gods, or are you just like in the pantheon?
No, she's the real deal. But so getting to be part of her world and getting to be part of Sick and Twisted gave me the confidence to start Neurohilarity. And then since starting Neurohilarity, other people have shared their story, which is amazing. And it's just amazing watching people share their little truths with me and their little journey. I still get jealous a lot. I'm like, you can't be neurodivergent. You're a lot more successful than I am. What's going on here? But yeah, it's been great.
Yeah. And I mean, when you have, you told me you had people coming up to you during your shows and saying, hey, I've never thought about this, and hey, this is a thing I better look into, and hey, I mean, those people probably they haven't seen anybody talking about the kind of things that you're talking about.
And for me, a lot of finding my identity as a queer person, finding what's different about my brain and my body, was all on social media. Was on TikTok and on Insta and other platforms. And so to be able to bring that kind of into the theater space and give that to people who might not be seeing it online feels really good.
Well, I'm older than both of you. So when I was
by a few years, not
by a few years. So when I was growing up, there was no internet,
right?
And so I've told this story before, but I had when I went through puberty in '82 or whatever, I developed gynecomastia, which is like you develop breast tissue.
Oh, okay.
So I had breast tissue until I was 19. Because I was too embarrassed about it, and I didn't, I wore, shirts like this, and I did this for 7 years, and finally asked my doctor, which was really scary, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that's this. It's not a big deal. I'll get you in, and we'll do the surgery."
Thank God you had a doctor who was okay and just.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like it's a very common thing.
Right.
I also think it's amazing that how honest and open you've been about your journey, about being open about everything has been, because as you've mentioned, you are on the older side and it's a lot harder when you're of a certain generation. Well, kids these days seem like they're a lot more open about being non-binary and realizing that they don't fit in all these little boxes and constructs that we force on them in society. But the fact that you're able to do that for yourself, it's been amazing.
Adam is showing his age because he's saying kids these days.
Yeah.
We're going to continue this conversation. If you're watching this on social media, this is going to cut off in just a minute here. But you can go to our YouTube page. Oh, I was going to remember what it was. It's like at the Valiant Theaters 1716 or something. I know that's wrong. It's something
Perfect.
weird, but just find us.
Easy to remember.
Yeah, and you can watch the rest of this over there. Thanks for watching. Okay, here we are. Thanks to those of you who have allowed us to have this artificial pause.
Especially the ones who figured out what the URL actually was.
Yeah, God. Yeah, right. Yeah, people took them 20 minutes to figure that out. Well, thanks, Adam. Yeah, I guess I feel like I agree with you about young people, that they have a different idea about, especially you're talking about sexuality or gender or queerness or all that stuff is all not so much of a big deal. I have noticed
we're all gay and neurodivergent.
Yeah, and so but for me, like I spend a long time in my life, trying to keep up certain kind of appearances and trying to do certain things and trying to juggle all the balls and trying to be what I was supposed to be and do what I was supposed to do and all that kind of stuff. And then, I ended up, I had a nervous breakdown. I tried to kill myself. I ended up in the hospital. And after that, it was like, who am I performing for?
So do you think that's some of the best period of your life because it allowed you freely to be who you are? And do you ever wish that period happened earlier? That you stopped living in such a lie for so many years instead of.
It's usually better to not get that far before.
That's a great question, Adam. It didn't feel great. I'll tell you that. No, I mean I do wish that I could have been turned into more of an honest and open person earlier. But I feel glad that I was able to at least sort of figure that out at some point in my life. Because a lot of people, the older they get, the more rigid they get in their thinking, and I just noticed after a certain age, like people just they don't want to take a note, they don't want to change their views on anything, they don't want to look at anything. I do attribute part of that to my partner Andy, who always has pushed me, and they always have asked me hard questions that I didn't want to think about and I didn't know the answers to, and all that kind of stuff. So that I think that having people that will kind of push you a little bit, I think that is good. But no, I mean I've had people say to me, hey, people that I kind of know, but like, hey, I'm following your stuff on Instagram, and I really appreciate the way that you talk about mental health. Our kid is bipolar, and it's been very difficult for us to kind of understand and relate and whatever. So we really appreciate that perspective because it's kind of helpful for us. Because I was brought up like a lot of people were in that kind of like you don't talk about that stuff,
right?
Because it's not suitable for a company, and it's like maybe you're just I got called a moody teenager a lot, or maybe you're just weak. I mean, that's not always a thing that's said, but you can kind of, you see the people around you, like Adam, jealous of all those people. You see the people around you doing all this stuff, and you kind of get the sense that, why can't I do the things I want to do?
Yeah.
Because for me, like with my brain, and then also like I've had some health stuff, mechanical health things. I've got really bad arthritis and whatever. And when you can't do what you want to do for whatever reason, it's very, very frustrating.
I just recently got these braces to kind of stop my fingers from overextending from my Ehlers-Danlos syndrome.
They're not just to look nice.
They're not just to look nice. Yeah,
they do look cool
though. But they're great. Except, so my show is about baking and the way that it connects me to my mom and to culture and community and home, and to now have these things that I need that get in the way of doing basic things in the kitchen, like kneading bread. I have to readjust kind of how I do everything, and it's been complicated.
But it's nice to see how you're adjusting everything. Like we're finally having a Fringe preview show, thanks to this one over here.
That's
and
true. Yes,
Shane Thevnot, another Fringe artist, which is gonna be amazing. It's gonna be LGBTQ Fringe preview shoot June 25th. Thanks to Willow and I'm saying, it's amazing that we have this new blood finally doing something that we couldn't have thought of doing otherwise, because I'm just lazy to put on a Fringe preview show.
You're lazy? Nobody thinks you're lazy, Adam.
Yeah.
Adam, you do more stuff. You do more stuff in a day than most people do in a week, right?
At least it
No, I mean,
appears that way.
no, I mean you're always working on something. I mean, you're what I'd call a grinder. You're always you never give up. You're always putting it out there. And I know that sometimes it's frustrating because you don't always, like with everything, you don't always get the result that
I
you want.
grind, but I really have some shortcomings in my game, so to speak. Like
Game.
I am horrible at marketing, so there so many amazing neurodivergent artists that I want to feature, and I'd be putting on more shows if I had marketing skills and I was able to pay them what they deserve.
Yeah. Well, and it's hard to. It's easier to be the person that just shows up and does the thing, and it's harder to be the person that's putting it on because
But
you've
that's
got.
what you've always been. You've always been putting things on. You create your own festival. You're
I've
creating
done
your
all
own venue.
kinds of.
The
I've done all
Valiant
kinds of stuff.
Art
Somebody.
Saves Our Soul. Everyone come check out the brand.
Um. I posted something the other day about the old Aqua books, and it was some stickers that I had made of some old designs, and one of them just had the website on it because it just originally had the website on it, and I guess somebody went and looked at the website and he said, "Oh, I'm surprised that the website's still there because it's been like 13 or 14 years." But I said,
Right.
"You know what?" I said, we did like 1,000 events, and it was really important for me to have that somewhere because I can't remember anything. I'm so ADHD and I can't, I literally, my keys are this big and I have a GPS thing on it so that I can make it beep. So to have that there, because yesterday, a friend of mine, Tracy, sent me a little clip of a video and I'm like, what's that? And she said, it was at the old Aqua Books. It was on stage. It was a very young band playing, and it was her son's band, Jacob, who's gone now, and it was just this little clip. And I looked up on the website, and I was like, "Oh, they played on May 25th, 2012. They played with Yes We Mystic, and his band was When the Boy Wakes." And there was this little fun little video clip that was just kind of. So I mean, I get the same kind of when things go well. And when everything's on fire and when everything's cooking and whatever, as the person who's putting on, you feel pretty good. I mean, you feel like shit when nobody shows up. I know that.
Take a lot of credit for things that aren't really that I have very little to do with. Like for instance, Willow's successful first show. I'm like, well, I did give Willow her 2 minutes of stage time, so
I made you.
So it can all eventually be attributed back to me. Even though the fact that she went from 5 minutes to 50 an hour of brilliance, I can't really take that much credit for. But even though I do,
you're I don't know what to think about your false bravado. Is that what it is? What's the opposite of false humility?
Probably bravado.
So Willow,
Yeah.
so are you ready for this one?
Not fully,
No.
but getting there.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit further ahead than I was last year.
Yeah.
So,
And you're taking, when is Edmonton?
Edmonton is August 14th to the 25th.
Okay. So have you done anything with that again, or are you just going to wait until this one is done and then try to, how many things can you store in your head?
More than many, fewer than I'd like. I have started working with a friend whose last name I've forgotten, but Hayden, who has a show on the Fringe as well this year. And they are doing some directorial and dramaturgy work on last year's show to kind of spruce it up a bit for Edmonton.
Yeah.
And,
well, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like Adam said, we're doing a queer Fringe showcase on June 25th at Little Brown Jug.
Okay. So just down the street over there, William and Adelaide. And that is June 25th. Who is going to be part of that?
I'm going to be hosting. it's being produced by Shane Thevenot of Late in Life Lesbian. And we have, I'm not exactly sure how many other shows. We're going to have some people from Neurohilarity performing. We'll have merch tables, a 50-50 draw, all to raise funds for all of the companies that are part of
Isn't
the
Daphne
showcase.
Finlayson in it? I was going through all the
Yes,
lineup was
yes,
Shane,
Daphne.
and it was like, this could just as easily be a neurodivergent.
Look, there's a lot of intersection between theater kids, neurodivergency, and queerness.
Yeah. Well, we have kind of a gaggle of people that hang out, kind of our friend group, which is either this big or this big, depending on the day. And pretty much everybody is neurodivergent. Pretty much everybody. And there's maybe I can think of one straight person, maybe two straight people. There's maybe two straight people in there.
Sometimes I forget straight people
exist. Yeah.
Neuroblands exist.
But
those
yeah,
are the good days.
Friendship is interesting with neurodivergent people. We can go a long time without seeing someone, but we're still thinking about them, and we're just friendship is very interesting. Because I had a friend who got really upset with me. He was like, "I'm always doing all the calling," and I'm like, "It's true, but I thought you liked it that way," and he had a hard time accepting all my quirks and my
yeah. Well, you come with what you come with. So if you can't accept me at my Adam Schwartziest, you don't deserve me at my Adam Schwartziest. I don't know. I'm gonna work on that one. I gotta
workshop it a little.
I gotta workshop it a little. So we're gonna wrap it up here. Your show is called
A Lesbian in the Kitchen.
Lesbian in the Kitchen. It is upstairs in Art Space.
Yep.
And it opens on
the Wednesday, July 16th.
The first day.
Yeah.
What time?
7 p.m.
7 p.m.
Yep.
Okay, so like one of the first shows.
Yeah.
And then
Neurohilarity is at Planetarium. Neurohilarity Expose is at starts July 16th, which is a Thursday at 6 p.m. at the Planetarium, so that we can be lost among the stars with how weird we are.
Oh boy, he's just like poetic.
And he says he's bad at marketing.
Yeah.
Look at that tagline.
Well, thank you both so much. I'm really, really sorry that I tried to kill you. And
it was worth it.
Our insurance,
pay for tickets to the shows. And we'll forgive you.
Yeah. Our insurance isn't good, so hopefully you feel all right tomorrow. And thank you so much for listening. Lots more to come. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.